The new Star Wars show, Ahsoka, might be giving fans something they've wanted for years. It's not Thrawn, it's not Luke Skywalker, or the Yuuzhan Vong, or even a Force Ghost Anakin. Although that would be pretty cool. It's Sam Witwer as Starkiller, finally in live-action Star Wars.
Yes! 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 Yes!
And guys, this goes way beyond just a theory. There's actually evidence now that these first two episodes are out that this is Starkiller. This is crazy, man. I think fans are going to go absolutely nuts for this, so let's break it down. Also, this video is sponsored by Unity, my new graphic novel that's on Kickstarter right now, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Okay, so let's begin by talking about who Starkiller is and why fans are going to go absolutely nuts for this. For the uninitiated, Starkiller, or Galen Marrok, is the main character of the Force Unleashed video games. The character is voiced by Sam Witwer and even modeled after him. And basically, Starkiller is the secret apprentice of Darth Vader, and he's absolutely like one of the most badass characters that's ever been in anything Star Wars. And those games and this character remain incredibly popular to this day. Like, seriously, guys, like, I do the Nerd Theory podcast with Star Wars Theory every week, right? And so literally every week for years, I am asked about bringing Starkiller into canon. Literally every week. And to be honest with you, I've never really thought of it as a possibility. I think the character's too powerful to exist in like regular canon Star Wars. However, I gotta admit, I think I might have been wrong about all of that because I think it's actually happened. Now, all this has to do with this character right here. Officially, this character's name is Marrok, described in official marketing as a former Inquisitor that has become a mercenary and is now working with Morgan Elsbeth. Now, interestingly, in Arthurian lore, there was a knight named Marrok who actually does get changed into a wolf by a witch named Morgan. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it's cool. And Dave seems to be playing on a lot of mythology for the things he's doing with the Ahsoka show. Now, even though he's working for Morgan Elsbeth, he's also being commanded by Baylan. We see that in the first couple episodes. And it's pretty crazy that this character is able to hold their own against Ahsoka, who is known as one of the best duelists from the Jedi Order period. She's obviously trained by Anakin Skywalker, but has her own aptitude at fighting with lightsabers. And like I said, there's actually evidence to suggest that this character is Sam Witwer. It's not just speculation. It's like, this could actually be happening. So the first piece of evidence is that Sam Witwer's name actually appears in the credits for episode 2. Even though it's not explicitly spelled out, I have seen some websites reporting that Sam Witwer was credited as additional sounds because there's a grunt that happens with the Marrok character. Now, this doesn't 100% seal the deal, right? I mean, that is the episode that Marrok actually shows up in and has the lines, and so it would make sense that Sam Witwer gets credited there, but Sam Witwer does actually come in to do a lot of additional voice work, or ADR, for many different Star Wars projects. He's a legacy actor over there, and just like Mark Hamill, he's always willing to help out when it comes to Star Wars, but this evidence is really interesting. Now, the next piece of evidence for this is a clip that's been going around since we got close to Ahsoka, and it's all about Sam Witwer talking about how there was a plan by Dave Filoni to make Galen Marrok into an Inquisitor. Here's the clip right here.
Dave, for example, was thinking for a second that he might be an Inquisitor, but then they moved away from that idea. But I remember him saying, he's like, yeah, you know, we were really actually talking about Starkiller being an Inquisitor because that's what he does, is in fact the Inquisitor thing.
Now, when I originally saw this clip, I didn't think much of it. I think it came out earlier this year, and Sam talking about ideas that Dave had for Galen Marrok on his live streams, like, that's just par for the course. It doesn't seem like anything crazy. When you combine this clip with the evidence that he has been credited, it begins to look a little more sus. Another reason people think this is Sam Witwer is because this character is clearly important and right in the middle of all of this stuff, but with a mask on. So there seems to be a mystery here that Dave Filoni is putting right in front of us. Again, this character is able to stand up to Ahsoka. The character is using the weapon of an Inquisitor. Another reason that we think this could end up being Sam Witwer and Galen Marrok is because from the behind the scenes footage, we know this is a male actor that's playing Marrok, and that actor is about the same size as Sam Witwer. Sam's not a really big guy. This character fits with Sam's body type. And so when you put that all together, it's beginning to seem like Sam Witwer was approached by Dave Filoni to bring Galen Marrok into Star Wars canon, making him a former Inquisitor and putting him front and center for this Ahsoka show. But now let's talk about like how this could work and why would they want to do this? Because Galen Marrok is incredibly powerful in the Force Unleashed video games, and this canon version of him simply cannot be that powerful, because if they did that, this would be the most powerful character in all of Star Wars and in this show, and would easily have crushed Ahsoka from what we know about her current power level. I think there's another big clue as to why they're doing this and how this is all working together, and it has to do with a line that Ahsoka said in the Star Wars Rebels show, and it was used in a lot of Star Wars Rebels trailers.
There's always a bit of truth in Legends.
And Dave is very famous for taking Legends characters and reworking them into the current Star Wars canon. He did this with the Thrawn character and a lot of characters that were associated with Thrawn. But on top of that, Dave has also become very famous for like ignoring established canon, whether that's through novels like the Ahsoka novel or through comic books like the Kanan Jarrus comic book, which showed an introduction to the Caleb Dune character during Order 66 that Dave completely retcons with the Bad Batch. And I think the truth is, Dave's philosophy on this is that every Star Wars story you've ever heard before is a version of the true events. It is a story being told to you. And so why would Dave bring Starkiller into canon? Well, it's because the character's really cool, and if they evoke the idea of this being one of Vader's secret apprentices, you could be setting up a scenario where you have Vader's apprentice versus Anakin's apprentice in Ahsoka. And that's a really compelling generational mythological Star Wars concept. I totally jive with it. I think it's awesome. There's also this massive fan base for Sam Witwer, for Galen Marrok, and if they bring a version of that character into canon, this would allow different comic books, video games, you know, maybe a novel, maybe even a show that could spin off and explain more about that character, which is something Star Wars does all the time. But in this example, I think it would feel really good as opposed to just spinning off characters from spin-off shows. This is a character and an actor that has not only done a lot of heavy lifting for the Star Wars brand, but one that fans resonate with and absolutely love. Because technically speaking, even if Marrok gets destroyed in the next episode and Ahsoka like cuts him in half or cuts his head off or just like decimates him or puts him out of the vacuum of space, which yes, that would absolutely suck. But my point is, even if they do that, there's still room, there's still avenues to tell stories with that character, to go back in time and explain what was going on. It's also possible the opposite happens. This character not only survives, but goes into the back half of the show where we expect to go to this new galaxy that they're teasing, and perhaps this character will learn crazy things about the Force. Here's something I thought of when I was thinking about Galen Marrok being brought into canon. We have heard rumors that Ezra Bridger is going to use the Force in new and interesting ways when we meet him in this show, that he will be taught things in this new galaxy and even have like karate, like the Force karate, which reminds me of a lot of the things that Galen Marrok did in the Force Unleashed video game. So maybe they're taking this character into this new galaxy to teach that character things that kind of resemble what you get from Starkiller in the video game. And so I think the evidence is stacking up. I think fans would go nuts for this. I think there's a lot of reasons why it makes sense when you think about how Dave Filoni has been treating canon and Legends and the fan favorite characters. And I kind of can't believe it, because for years I'm asked about Starkiller. Every week I'm asked about Starkiller, and every time I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. It doesn't work. And it actually might. Let me know your thoughts on the evidence. You think Starkiller's coming into this? What do you hope they do with the character? And, you know, let me know what you think of Ahsoka, too, while you're down there in the comment section. And I also want to say I've got my new graphic novel, Unity, this crazy superhero story on Kickstarter right now. And depending on when you watch this, we've got about 25 days left to get to our $50,000 goal to get this book out there into the world. It's a new IP. I'm so excited about it. I put my favorite things from Star Wars, Marvel, Dragon Ball, all these things I love are mixed up together in this awesome story. So if you're interested, go check it out on Kickstarter. I'll link it in the description and in the pinned comment. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.